A shipping container has no handle on the inside. Have you ever really thought about that? It's a steel box. It's designed for cargo, for inanimate objects.
And when you close those doors, that's it. You're in a steel void.
Exactly. It's a sensory deprivation tank made of industrial metal.
And for Alexandra Morgan, she thought she was walking toward, well, a life-changing opportunity.
Right. A 100,000-pound security job. Something that would set her kids up for the future.
But she wasn't walking into a job. She was walking into what some of the reports have called a thermal nightmare.
She was walking into an erasure. Because the subject of our deep dive today, Mark Brown, he didn't just want to kill these women.
No, he attempted to dematerialize them, to, literally turn them into smoke.
So today we're opening Dossier #27, the Incinerator of Souls. We're analyzing the Mark Brown case, but not just the timeline.
No, we're looking at the industrialization of murder. We have to unpack the predatory architecture he built at a place called Little Bridge Farm.
Let's start there. The location itself, Little Bridge Farm. I mean, just the name, it sounds.
Idyllic, rustic, like a weekend getaway.
Yeah, but in reality, this was a remote plot near St. Leonard's in East Sussex. And it wasn't a farm in any real sense, was it?
Not at all. When investigators mapped it out, they realized it was a compound. It was designed from the ground up for isolation.
And the man running it, Mark Brown. Not a farmer, a builder.
A 41-year-old construction worker. And he fits this very specific and disturbing profile.
For double life.
The classic double life. On one hand, he's got a partner of 14 years, kids, a family home, but then he's taking his mother's inheritance.
Money that should have gone to his family.
And he's funneling it into renting this remote plot. He's building a secret world.
And his first victim, Leah Ware, was already living in that secret world. He'd moved her into a shipping container inside one of the barns.
And living is a very generous word for it. When you look at the forensics of that space, it's chilling.
Okay, so it had power, it was cluttered.
Yeah.
But the most telling detail,
A lock.
it had a lock only on the outside.
And that changes everything, doesn't it? It stops being a bedroom and it starts being a cell.
It's accommodation turned into captivity.
Exactly. And Leah Ware was so vulnerable. She was struggling with her mental health. She was estranged from her family. Brown literally boxed her in.
So the physical environment is restrictive, but it also seems to reflect his own mind. The reports describe the farm and his actual home as just chaotic.
A hoarder profile.
Yes.
And hoarding is often about control, but here it was also camouflage. Hidden in all that junk at his family home were weapons.
Guns, handcuffs.
And the sources are clear. These weren't some kind of novelty item. They were industrial restraints.
There's one detail from the search of his attic, though. I can't quite get my head around it.
You're talking about the bags.
The bags of human feces stored in his attic.
It is repulsive, of course.
Yeah.
But forensically, you have to look past the disgust.
What does it tell us?
It's an indicator of a profound breakdown in social norms. It points to severe personality disorders or even some kind of psychosexual gratification from filth and degradation.
He was building an ecosystem of depravity.
That is a perfect way to put it. If you're willing to live with that in your own home, your own sanctuary, then your barrier to violating other bigger taboos is just so much lower.
It really sets the stage for the farm. This was about disposal. This brings us to the disposal infrastructure.
And this is where the case becomes, frankly, terrifyingly unique. Most killers use a weapon of opportunity. A knife, a gun.
A blunt object.
Right. But Mark Brown used a process. The murder weapon wasn't really a weapon. It was a homemade incinerator.
A double-skinned oil drum.
Which implies premeditation, engineering. He built a furnace, and we know exactly how because he texted the recipe to an old school friend.
I have the text right here. An old oil drum, 5 liters of diesel, and hey presto, there's not very much left.
Hey presto, like it's a magic trick.
It's unbelievable.
He's describing the annihilation of a human being as a sleight of hand. He even said it gets so hot it glows almost white.
That's what, over 1,000 degrees Celsius?
Easily. He wasn't just hiding bodies, he was attempting to reduce them to their base elements.
And after the burning, he moved the remains?
Correct. He transported the oil drum from his secret world at the farm to his public world, a construction site in Seven Oaks where he worked.
And dumped it in an industrial skip.
Mixing the evidence of his murders with construction debris, it's another layer of dehumanization, treating his victims like rubble.
But this is where the physics of his crime failed him. Because despite that incredible heat, The truth survived.
It's almost impossible to completely destroy the human body, especially teeth, dense bone fragments, and forensics found them right there in the drum.
And they found something else. Something personal.
Alexandra Morgan's favorite ring.
Warped by the fire, but it was there.
It was identifiable, and that ring was the anchor. It physically connected the debris in that skip to the missing woman. It proved his magic trick had failed.
So we have the mechanics, but I want to understand how he selected them. How did he get them to the farm?
This is the counterintelligence phase. Brown was a hunter, and he used the internet, specifically a site called AdultWork.
And his username on that site, I mean, it leaves nothing to the imagination.
Fistemic rapist.
Horrifying.
It's a flagrant broadcast of intent. He wasn't hiding his sadism, he was advertising it. He was filtering for women who were desperate enough or perhaps conditioned to abuse that they might overlook a name that just screams danger.
He was targeting single mothers, women with financial and mental health struggles.
He was commodifying vulnerability.
He found that with Leah Ware, who was so isolated. But Alexandra Morgan, she was different.
She's the reason we're even having this deep dive. She engaged in what you could call victim counterintelligence.
She knew. She sensed the trap.
She did. Leah was alone, and Brown isolated her over time. But Alexandra had a family, children she was fiercely protective of. She went to that farm for the money, but she didn't go in blind.
The digital forensics. The morning she left, she Googled something very specific.
Can a phone be tracked without a SIM card?
That is the search of someone walking into a high-risk situation. She was already thinking about her lifeline.
She didn't just search online, she left a physical trail, a box of clues.
This is the pivotal moment in the entire investigation. She left a note for her son. Let's go rollerblading.
Just a simple, innocuous mom note, but it led police to a box of rollerblading gear.
And inside that box,
Everything they needed. 2,000 pounds in cash she'd saved for her kids, a note with the postcode for Little Bridge Farm, and crucially, the PIN code for her burner phone.
she left her own dossier.
She did. She knew that if she didn't come back, someone would need to know exactly where to look. She set a trap for her own predator.
It's an incredible battle of wits.
Brown thought he was the spider, but Alexandra had already attached a thread to herself that led the authorities right back to his web.
Let's go back to Brown's mindset. That text message with the incinerator recipe, he gave himself a title in it.
A psychopath with a conscience.
He actually wrote, "The things I have done weigh heavily on my heart. A psychopath with a conscience." It's a joke, really.
And he's right, it is a joke, it's a contradiction in terms.
He knows it.
A clinical psychopath lacks the capacity for remorse. What Brown is doing is simulating humanity. He's performing guilt.
Trying to make himself a tragic figure instead of just a monster.
Exactly. It's a kind of romanticized depravity. Look how much I suffer for my terrible actions. But it's all self-centered. A real conscience wouldn't have allowed him to kill Alexandra 6 months after he killed Leah.
And that gap, 6 months, that's the real tragedy of Leah Ware. She was gone, and for 6 months, nobody noticed.
And that's the systemic failure here. Leah had lost custody of her children, she had bipolar disorder, was estranged from family. Brown knew all of this. He exploited the blind spots in our social safety net.
He didn't just exploit them. He actively maintained her disappearance. He kept her alive digitally.
The digital ghost. It's a modern tactic. He collected her prescriptions from the pharmacy.
He had to say her name out loud, knowing she was dead.
And he withdrew cash from her account, 12,000 pounds in total.
Funding his life with her money after he'd taken her life.
It's predatory parasitism. He consumed her life, then he consumed her resources, all to buy himself more time in the shadows.
There's one more victim, a small one. We have to talk about Lady.
Leah's Pomeranian dog.
Leah apparently said, "You can trust animals, but not people."
And that trust was just completely violated. When police drained a pond on the farm, they found the dog's remains.
Weighted down.
With a 12-kilogram dumbbell. It was an execution. And the timeline suggests he killed Leah and her dog on the same day.
But why? Why kill the dog?
The dog was an extension of Leah. It was the only thing she had left that loved her unconditionally. By killing the dog, he was completing the erasure of her entire world.
And, practically speaking.
A dog barks, a dog draws attention. But psychologically, it is about total domination. He extinguished every last spark of life connected to her.
It's pure, calculated cruelty. And yet he stood in court and claimed she just ran away.
The conscience argument just completely falls apart. He gaslit everyone to the very end. but the jury saw through it.
They saw the pattern, the incinerator, the texts.
And they saw Alexandra's note in the rollerblade box.
He was sentenced to a minimum of 49 years. He refused to even show up for the sentencing.
Cowardice. The judge said his conscience was clearly untroubled. He'll be an old man before he's ever eligible for parole.
But there is this lingering shadow, isn't there? We found Alexandra. We found fragments. But Leah...
Leah's still missing.
Yeah.
We have the dog's bones, the financial trail, the text confession. But because of that incinerator, because of that white heat, Leah Ware was, for all intents and purposes, dematerialized.
He likely put her in the same oil drum.
It's the only logical conclusion. But without a specific piece of physical evidence from that burn site linked to her, a tooth, a ring, she remains forensically just smoke.
It's a terrifying thought.
Yeah.
That you can be erased so completely.
But that's the final point here. He tried to use industrial tools to delete these women. Fire, steel, isolation. But he couldn't delete the human element. He couldn't delete a mother's instinct to leave that note.
The fire at Little Bridge Farm burned at 1,000 degrees.
But it couldn't burn away the truth.
No.
The smoke always clears, and when it did, it revealed a monster in a cage.
Yet day 27 is closed. But for everyone listening, watch the smoke. You never know what it might be hiding.
Indeed. Stay observant.